How you doing, everybody? Nick DiVirgilio here, and today's video is on this DW Collector's Exotic Tasmanian 6-piece shell pack. John Good from DW, aka the Wood Whisperer, has done it again and made an unbelievably gorgeous looking and gorgeous sounding drum kit. And John has really good friends of his, wood vendors from all over the world, that call him whenever they find something special and say, John, you might want to check this out and make a drum kit out of it. And that's how he came up with the Romanian river oak, where they found big old logs that were buried under mud and soot for 1,500 years. They were digging up that stuff and they found the log. They called John. And this drum kit, the wood they got from Australia and Tasmania, happened the exact same way. His wood vendor and a really good friend of his down there called him up and said, man, I found some really cool stuff. You should check it out. So let's get into the details of this kit right now. The heart of the drum shell is blackwood from Australia and or Tasmania. It's a great tone wood that is a cousin of koa wood, which you might already know from ukuleles and or guitars. Great instrument making wood. The outer ply of this is a really special wood called blackheart sassafras. That comes from Tasmania, and this is where the special story comes in. Quick left turn here. If you go onto our site, the product page of this exact kit, there's a video there that John Good himself made about the journey to find this wood. It's really cool. It gets into all the nitty-gritty details of how he found this wood and his relationship with his vendor down there in Australia. So I encourage you to check out that video. But basically how this blackheart sassafras comes about is it's a tree down there that grows, and maybe a storm or like a lightning strike or something will strike a tree, exposing the top part of the tree. Now they don't cut it down from there. They leave it there so water and elements, all those kinds of things will drip into the heart of the tree over time. We're talking, years and years and years. But that moisture that goes down into the tree colors the inside of the tree. Now you wouldn't know this unless you were a wood connoisseur or a person that goes out and finds cool kinds of timber. That's exactly what they did. They know what happens inside the heart of this tree. So what they do is they know when to harvest it. They cut down the log, and then they'll slice it kind of almost right down the center. Pour a little bit of water on that, and then all of this beautiful figuring of the wood grain is inside because of the moisture and all the stuff that just collected on the inside and grew over time. It's an amazing, just a natural way the wood gets its color. And again, John's friend called him up and said, you should check this wood out. And John flew right down there with his wife Esther, and they bought this wood and brought it back to California to make these drum kits. Now, when they slice the tree, you're getting slices that are only about maybe 6, 8 inches wide. So they have to kind of make shells out of these strips, okay? And that video that's on our product page shows you how they put these things together, tape them, and somehow make these perfectly round, perfectly amazing drum shells. Now you know where the wood came from, you know what these drums look like. Let's get into the sound of the drums, the most important part. Let's make some music with these drums. The sizes of these drums are this: 8 by 10 and 12 by 9 inch rack tom, 12 by 14 and 14 by 16 inch floor toms. Really cool sizes. They're pretty shallow but have a huge round low sound. 18 by 22 inch kick drum and a matching 6.5 by 14 inch snare. First, let's get into the toms. Snare wires off from high to low. Here we go. These drums are outfitted with DW's AA 2-ply smooth heads. These are DW's proprietary heads made by Remo, and they're really cool double-ply thick heads that just give these particular drums a nice round tone. Let's put the snare wires on, do the same thing so you can hear a little more snap in the background. Very musical, nice tone interval from top to bottom. Very inspiring to hear and play on. What's cool about this drum kit, you get a matching snare. Now these snare drums are also sold separately. He made 200 drum kits, John Good I'm saying, made 200 drum kits with snares and 200 snare drums on their own. So if you want to just buy the snare, you totally can. And let's get into that snare drum right now. 6.5 by 14, sounds really good. I'm going to start with the snare wires off first and then I'll put them on while I'm playing. Big, throaty, definitely has a high-end crack to it. It'll cut through anything you're going to be recording with, any style of music, and boy, it just feels good under the hands. Now let's get into the kick drum, a big 18 by 22 inch kick drum, outfitted with DW's clear coated head on the batter side. It has a piece of mylar that goes around the edge and some coated strips that are on the outside too. It's a really nice, very professional kick drum head on the batter side. A couple of DW pillows that are just touching the resonant and a little bit of the batter side, so it's a little bit dampened. You could not use those if you so choose. And here we go. Snare wires off first. Big and round from the player's side, definitely projecting forward with a nice bit of low end. Another thing that's really cool about this kick drum is it's really sensitive. When I'm playing this quietly, you hear it, but it's a lot quieter than the loud bits. So that makes it a very musical kick drum when you're playing your grooves. You can go loud to soft and anywhere in between, and the drum will react accordingly. So that's really nice. Let's put the snare wires on and do the same thing. Great sounding kick drum. Now I'm using the DW machine direct drive pedal with the felt beater. So if you want to have more snap from your kick drum sound, put on the plastic head on the beater instead of the felt, and you'll have more snap to your kick drum sound. Let's put the whole drum kit together. Snare wires off, then I'll put them back on and go kind of back and forth and in between, and let's have some fun. Just an awful lot of fun. I could play these drums all day long. They sound so good from this side. Now, I've recorded with these drums a little bit too, and they sound beautiful recorded as well. I have some really nice microphones here. I encourage you to check out the text below the video here where I'll have a list of all of the other gear I'm using. From the recording equipment, the microphones, the cymbals. I got a nice selection of Pye cymbals here with me today. Check out the text below. They'll have links to all of these products, and you can go check them out directly if you so choose. Let's get into the hardware on this kit right now. DW Collector Series hardware, very high-end, very professional. Let's start with the suspension system. It's the STM tom suspension system. Lets the toms hang freely. It works really well, and it lets the drums resonate like they're supposed to. You get the big DW turret lug. The hoops, these are 3mm DW True hoops. They're a little bit heavy, but they really add to the tone and the resonance of the drum. The tuning rods on here are DW's True Pitch 50. You have a lot more threads on these tuning rods than you have on your normal tuning rod, so you can really dial in the tone and the pitch of each drum, fine-tune it however you like, and it will stay there. And it's just a really nice system. The spurs on the kick drum are DW's Collector Series spurs, great spurs that make it so your drum never moves, and they have the same black nickel finish as the rest of the hardware, as well as the floor tom legs. These are very cool floor tom legs from DW that are tall enough you can raise your floor tom really high or really low. They work well, they stay out of the way, keep your floor tom solid on the floor, and they have the same black nickel finish. So beautiful all the way around. Now let's get into the finish on these beautiful drums. Candy black burst into this natural look of the wood in the center. The blackheart sassafras just shines through after putting the lacquer on it, and how it bursts into the black towards the edge of the shells. Absolutely gorgeous. On the kick drum, you'll notice that the hoops are also black, so the burst goes all the way to the edge of the drum. Just gorgeous. And again, I encourage you to check out the video from John Good at DW about how they make these shells and how the whole thing comes together. A lot of great information. What I want to do now quickly here is take off the head of one of the rack toms. I'll take the head off the 12 right here in front of me so you can see the inside of these shells. So the black wood you'll see on the inside and just how gorgeous it is. The head is now off of this 12 by 9 inch rack tom, and check out the inside of this shell. Absolutely gorgeous. You could see the grain of the blackwood on the inside. It's got that nice lush brown color, perfect edges, as DW always has, perfect edges. There's some real wood artisans that work at the factory at DW. John Good has taught them all so well. This is one gorgeous drum. On the side here, they have the badge of Australia to show you where this wood came from. It's just a nice visual touch to the drum here. On the other side of the drum, you have your normal DW badge. Again, these are fantastic drums. Quickly, I want to tell you that these shells are made in DW's VLT. Stands for vertical low timbre shell construction. And what that means is that the inner ply and the outer ply of the drum shells are vertical. Now, when they're vertical, all of the tension is out of the wood when they have that vertical grain in the drum shell, which correlates to ultra low pitch of the drum shell. Okay, really cool just construction method that DW has just perfected over the years. There you have it, everybody. DW's Collector's Exotic Tasmanian 6-piece shell pack. Again, this shell pack comes with a matching snare. If you want to buy a snare on its own, you can do so. They made 200 of these kits and 200 of snare drums on their own. Just talk to your Sweetwater sales engineer about what you want to get. If you have any questions or comments, I encourage you to leave them below the video here and subscribe to our page. Lots of great content there. And if you want any more information about this DW product or any other DW product, just contact your Sweetwater sales engineer. Thanks a lot for watching.